Okay, welcome once again, guys, to our class for today. This subject is FINTSAR, FINTSAR K31, where the main topic is applied regression and time series for financial research. So welcome to this subject. If you notice, there's this other subject, Arts MFI. This was the old name of this subject. So the focus of this subject is two main topics, applied regression. So we'll look at the different types of regression. Of course, the main focus will be on multiple regression. And then we'll look at other types of regression like logit or logistic regression. And hopefully we'll be able to discuss introduction to structural equation modeling. And then we're going to look at time series. Okay, so these are the two main topics that we're going to look into. So it reviews and introduces mostly multiple linear regression, with quantitative and qualitative variables. We're going to do inferences about the model parameters, do diagnostics, okay? And then also we're going to look at univariate and multivariate time series. And the main tool that we're going to use here is R. Okay, so this will be the link that we're going to use. This is my email address. Okay, so these are the topics that we're going to look into. We will also be including here introductory structural equation modeling. So a big chunk will be for multiple regression, and then we'll do univariate and multivariate time series together with panel data regression. So the syllabus, guys, can be found in our syllabus page. This is our syllabus. For your guidance. It's also found in the G drive. Here it's embedded, so you can easily just go over the syllabus. Okay, I already embedded it here. Okay, here. So our class schedule is 11 to 12:30, and then consultation hours can be 3 o'clock to 4:15, or as per appointment. So you can appoint, guys. You can have an appointment with me if there are some questions that you need to be answered. Okay, so for the first few sessions, we're going to navigate through R. I'll conduct a quick survey later about how familiar you are with R and RStudio. And then we're going to look into regression, cross-sectional data, okay, and then multiple regression, inference about it, and do multiple regression with qualitative variables, and do some diagnostics, checking for heteroscedasticity, okay, the functional form of your multiple regression. And then we're going to do time series analysis. We're going to do the Box-Jenkins approach to time series, where we're going to learn about the ARIMA process, autoregressive and moving average processes, ARIMA. And then we're going to learn also how to model volatility using the generalized accepted autoregressive conditional heteroscedasticity. And then we're going to do multivariate analysis, okay? Multivariate analysis, panel data regression, and generalized linear models. A big chunk of the requirements for this course are project papers. Some of it will be individual, so some of it will be in groups, which we're going to discuss as we go along. Okay, so this is quite a huge number of topics. So I will really be needing your cooperation on our discussions. And feel free to ask questions, guys, in the course of our discussion by chatting, or you may unmute yourself. Okay, before we go to time series later on, okay, in this in this topic. We're going to introduce some concepts about structural equation modeling, SEM, and I'm going to discuss with you why it's important to learn SEM also as an offshoot of regression, the regression, multiple regression topics. All right, so let me pause recording first. Recording. All right, this Google Drive, guys, we're going to use it for the remaining part of our class. We're going to group you into several groups. You're going to be divided into groups, and then so your groupings will be also posted here, and any requirement will also be posted here aside from Canvas. So here and Canvas, this will be our main how do I call it? What's the name for that? Main venues. Let me just call it venues, loosely speaking, for us to for the requirements of this course. Okay, so as I mentioned a while ago, our subject will be focusing on two main topics, two broad topics: multiple regression and time series. Wait, sometimes my computer is quite delayed. Ano ba ito? Sorry, FINTSAR pala to. So nawala. Asan na yung ano? Sandali lang guys, let me just address this. Okay, why did I lose the sa ano? Di lang guys. I think my computer is okay. Right, so as I said a while ago, guys, this will be our main topics: multiple regression and time series with panel data regression and generalized linear models. The syllabus, guys, I already uploaded it here. It's embedded here for your reference. So please be guided by this. So for the first few weeks, for first few sessions, not first few weeks, we will have a discussion about R and RStudio. Okay. Let me. So R and RStudio, this will be the first lessons, and then we go to regression, multiple regression, time series, panel data regression, and generalized GLM, generalized linear models. Okay. For the fourth R, guys, I strongly urge you to watch these videos. So these are videos about getting started with R. The first two tells us about how to navigate through R and RStudio, especially if you're learning R for the first time. I would really highly encourage you to watch videos 1 to 8 and videos 9 to 16. The URLs are provided for your reference. We're not going to discuss this anymore in class. So I expect you as responsible students to watch this on your own. These are short videos. Even if there are 8 videos, they are just 5 minutes, some 4 minutes. I think the longest is 6 or 7 minutes. So they are manageable videos, and you'll be able to, once you watch the 16 videos, I'm sure you'll be able to have a good working knowledge about R and R Studio. As a start, guys, for those of you who don't have R yet in your machines, in your computers, so may I request you to please in Google, please type Quran in Google. Okay. If you type Quran and search for Quran, you will be led here. So the first listing here is the Comprehensive R Archive Network. That's what Quran means. So may I request you to open this? All right. So if you open this, guys, you'll be led to this Quran website. Okay, the Comprehensive R Archive Network. It's supposed to be the repository of R as a software. Okay, so the R as a software is free. So we're going to make use of this. And may I request you guys, I'll give you a few minutes to please download, whether your machine is Mac or Windows, kindly download this. For those of you who have already R and R Studio, R installed in your machines, just please bear with us, okay? So if you're using Mac, kindly download R using this one. And if Windows, this one. Okay, so let me first pause recording. Okay, so once you have installed R, guys, and I suggest you pin it to your taskbar. And if you open R, if you click R, you will find this interface. Okay, so this is R. Okay, Nishi, thank you. All right, so this is R, guys, and this is the software that we're going to use. Okay, so there are many functionalities here. We can do our statistical analysis here. We can do our regression analysis here. However, guys, the interface is quite drab. It's quite unintuitive. Okay, so that's why R Studio was created as an IDE, no? IDE, which is Integrated Development Environment. Okay, so error siya kasi hindi naman siya nababasa, no? Okay, so ito yung R natin, guys. This is the, by way of an analogy, this is the engine. Okay, ito yung makina. Yung R Studio, which we're going to install in a while, is just like the dashboard. No? So yung R Studio will provide information which is actually running from which is being run by the machine itself, by R. So as to the question kanina, yung mas maganda yung R Studio, yes, mas maganda ang R Studio in the sense that you're able to have more functionalities using R Studio. However, R Studio will not work without R. As I mentioned a while ago, as an analogy, R is the machine, R is the engine, R Studio is a dashboard. So the machine or the engine will work without the dashboard. Okay, however, the dashboard will allow us to see what's really happening inside the machine. So the two are complementary, the two go hand in hand. So if you take a look at this, itong R na to, guys, no? Ito yung console niya, we call it the R console, and we write codes here. For example, if I write 2 raised to the 50th power, okay, control enter, okay, it can run here, guys. Notice, guys, nararan niya, no? 2 raised to the 50th power, that's 1.1259 times 10 to the 15th power. Okay, you can run other codes here. For example, rnorm. I'm going to use this function rnorm. Okay, I'm going to generate 100 random numbers with mean equal to, let's say, 10 and standard deviation is equal to 1.5. Okay. Suppose I run this code, Control Enter. Okay, so there you are. There you go, guys. Try to do this, guys, in your R console. Okay, so here I'm running. These are random numbers, normalized siya with mean equal to 10 and standard deviation is equal to 1.5. So if you run this, guys, you'll be generating 100 random numbers. Okay? We will have different numbers because these are randomized. Okay, so this one refers to the element. So this is the first element. This is the 9th element, 11.27. This is the 97th element. So 97, 98, 99, 100. Okay. Paki-chat nga please, guys, kung sinubukan yung i-run to sa R. Please. And if you copy the same code, you'll notice, guys, that you'll have different numbers kasi random numbers to. Okay, did you run it and did you get some answers, 100 numbers, random answers? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Casey. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Charles. Okay, big salamat ha. Salamat, guys, sa feedback. How about the rest, guys? Mga 6 pa lang to nag-reply dito. Yeah, thank you. That's good. It's good. Yeah. I appreciate, guys, your feedback kasi that indicates to me that you're following along. So please feel free if you have any questions, if you're not getting it. Do not be ashamed, guys. Please raise your hand or please chat, okay? Please do that because, again, we don't want anyone left behind, okay? All right, so we got different answers, guys. And for example, I want to get the average of this, the mean of, okay. Let me create an object called X. X is equal to R norm. I'll follow the same. 100 with the mean equal to, let's say, 20, and standard deviation is equal to 2, okay? So I'm creating an object called X, and this X is equal to, again, creating random numbers, 100 all in all. This time with the mean equal to 20 and the standard deviation is equal to 2. If I run this, guys, okay, take note that it's not telling us, it's not printing immediately what my random numbers are. But if I press X and then Control Enter, there you go. It will now print the 100 random numbers. Okay, we have assigned a name to this object, X. Okay, we can get some statistics about X. For example, mean of X. If I use capital letter, if I, for example, capitalize it, it will return an error term, guys. Error because R is not able to see what this object is, X, which tells us that R is case sensitive. Okay, but this time I used the small letter X, and it took the average of these random numbers, 100 random numbers, and it's approximately equal to 20 because I said that the average should be 20, and then the mean, let's get the standard deviation. Standard deviation is 2.095, so that's very close to 2. Okay, and in fact, I can ask R to plot the histogram of this. Okay, so it will open in another window. Okay, so this is the histogram. Okay, you notice that the concentration of the data points is on 20. Okay, so histogram for this object X. Okay, so you can do a lot of things also in R. Okay, you can run statistical analysis. You can run several types of analysis in R. However, with the advent of this IDE called RStudio, it's really a lot better to work or navigate in R using the RStudio. Okay, before we go there, guys, may I have a response from you guys? So far, guys, are we okay? Is it clear that is it understandable to us now that we can do computations, we can do coding or statistical analysis using R? Paki-chat naman please if it's yes or no. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. However, guys, there's a better way to navigate through R. There's a better way to use R, and that's the use of an IDE. Okay. So once again, guys, may I request you to please go to Google. Okay. For those of you who don't have yet RStudio installed, kindly search for RStudio. Okay. RStudio download. Here. RStudio download. And it will lead us here. Download the RStudio IDE. This is Integrated Development Environment. Okay, so this is the RStudio. Okay, and then here we can download this RStudio Desktop. That's for free. Okay, there are commercial versions. Okay, this is when you're using a server. Okay, there's also this R Desktop Pro. It has additional functionalities, but for us guys, this is sufficient already. An integrated tool for R. Okay, so I'll give you a few minutes, guys. Okay, now that you have downloaded RStudio, kindly open it, guys. Okay, thank you, Andrea. Kindly open your RStudio. And let me let me open my RStudio. Wait lang guys ha, not responding yung RStudio ko. Okay. All right. Disregard this yung mga nakalagay dito, no? Okay. All right. So first of all, guys, you'll notice that sa RStudio, guys, apat yung panes natin. We have 4 panes. Okay, this is your script window. Most probably, guys, nasa ilalim nyo yung console window. And then dito sa upper right, you have your environment window. And then below, you have your files and plots. Can you please confirm, guys, if you're seeing these four window panes? You have here your script window, your console window. Most probably, it will be here on this side. The default, that's the default, and then the environment window, and then the files window. Now, do not compare, guys, the what's inside my R, because I was using this a while ago in the first class. So we will really have different elements here. Okay, good. Thank you so much for the confirmation. Now, you may first you may change the positioning of the windows. Okay, for me, I would prefer the console window on the right-hand side, and then the environment below, and then the files and plots below also. Okay, so let's do that. How do you do that? How do you change the positioning? Okay, one way is here, view. Okay, let me see if it's under view. Is it under view or is it under session?
I think, sir, sa view.
A view, no? Wait,
Panes. I think panes.
View and then here, paints, no?
Console on right.
Okay, so ito guys, no, pwedeng console on right, console on left. Okay, or, so that's one way to navigate through if you want to reposition the panes. What you can do also is go to tools here, tools. I prefer using this, tools, and then go to global options, tools and then global options. And then you have several options there. Thank you, Alistair. All right, here. So kanina pwedeng sa view, ano, or here, under tools. Okay, kasi I prefer this kasi mas maraming options dito, no? Here I can change the appearance. So the default is Chrome. If I go to appearance, ang default ng editor's theme is Chrome. However, for me, I prefer usually the okay, yung Cobalt ang ginagamit ko, no? Or Cobalt or the Cobalt. No? I prefer using the Cobalt. So you can change the appearance of your R Studio, the interface. Okay, but let me just maintain the Chrome first. Okay, so that's the appearance, and then here the pane layout. Here is the pane layout. So here you can see, guys, the pane layout. So currently, guys, this is my source. On the upper right is my console. If I want to put my console on below here, you can just click this one. Click this one and then click console. Okay, so it will now change. Okay, so this is quite convenient. Okay, but for me, guys, I prefer my console to be on the right side. Okay, because sometimes the results of the codes here in source will be printed in console so that I'm able to see side by side. Okay, so you may wish to do that, or you may wish to maintain the default. So once you're done with that, you can click apply, okay, and okay. Okay, so there you go, guys. You have here the script window. You have here the console. You have here the environment. Okay, later on we're going to see what we can find in the environment. Okay, so let me just delete that. Okay, so I have just cleared my environment. It's now empty, just like yours. Okay, let me also just clean that. Okay. All right. So more or less, guys, we have the same interface. Okay. All right. Now there are several ways to make use of this. Okay. Of course, you won't have these ones, kasi ito yung mga programs na ginagamit ko, which we're going to learn also later on. Ito yung mga projects na ginagamit ko. Okay. So first, guys, you have this R script. Okay, how do we, when you open RStudio, you will have this. This is an R script window, okay? And you can open, if you want to open another R script window, you can, here below, guys, if you look at this icon here, the one with the plus, if you click this one, okay, you can see here, guys, that you have R script, R notebook, R markdown. We're going to use more for this subject, R notebook, which is actually quite similar to R markdown with some differences. Ito yung mas modern way to go about it. So you can also have R Swift, HTML, okay, presentation and documentation. So quite a lot of stuff here. guys. So the shortcut for an R script is Control-Shift-N. Okay, so let's do that. I can click this. If I click this, guys, then it will open. This one is another R script. Okay, this was the R script that was opened a while ago. So this is another R script. Okay, so let me just delete that. Okay, or it says that it's Control. Okay, the shortcut is Control-Shift-N, di ba? So if you're nagmamadali kang magbukas ng Control-Shift-N lang, or I think sa Mac, it's Command-Shift-N, yan. Nag-open na ng panibagong R script. Okay? So, and just like what we did with the R a while ago, you can write codes here, no? Kunyari, let's say 2 to the 100th power. And then if you want to run this, Control Enter. There. Okay, and then it will generate the answer here. Still running. 2 to the 100th power. Let's wait for it to. It's taking quite some time, no? Yeah, okay. So it generated the answer 1.267 times 10 to the 30th. Okay, you can create, you can run codes here. Let's repeat what we did a while ago, guys. R norm. Let's generate again 100 random numbers. Okay. And if I don't define the mean and the standard deviation, then that will default to a mean equal to 0 and a standard deviation is equal to 1, which is a normal it's a standard normal distribution. Okay. This one, the hashtag is meant as a comment. So pag rinan natin tong line na to, guys, hindi i-run ni Arto kasi comment tong hashtag nito. So let's do that. Okay, so here I have my 100 random numbers in my console. Okay? So once again, guys, magkaiba tayo ng numbers kasi random numbers to, but we can generate similar numbers, which I'm going to show you in a while. So we can, for example, get the okay, let's give this a name. Control-C, Control-V, let's call it Y. Okay. Just use a small letter Y. And then, hindi ko muna siya i-run mean of Y and SD of Y, and even create a histogram of Y. Okay, and then I can put this all together. Okay, highlight everything, and then Control Enter. Then it will run everything. Okay, so first here we have the okay, Y is equal to the 100 random numbers. Notice na hindi niya hindi niya generate yung dito, yung mga numbers na yon, hindi niya generate kasi hindi natin pinaprint no? Okay, let me copy this, Control-C, Control-V. If I rerun this, guys, and then if you want the numbers to be printed, you have to type Y or print Y. No? So let me repeat this. Control Enter. Okay, so print na niya yung 100 na random numbers. No? Okay, and then mean niya dito 0.06, which is quite close to 0, pero hindi talaga eksaktong 0. And then the standard deviation is 1.08, which is close to standard deviation is equal to 1. And then if you notice that it's quite different from my other, yung y na object na unang pinint ko. Okay, now what happened to the first y? Okay, di ba nag-generate tayo ng object na y, tapos pina-generate natin yung histogram, okay? And then nag-generate ulit tayo ng y. Now notice, guys, na isang y na lang dito. So, ibig sabihin, in-erase nung second y yung first y. So ito, guys, the global environment, the environment will tell us what are the objects that are currently available or that have been created as far as this R script is concerned. So ito yung y, guys. No? Andito siya. Ibig sabihin, ito yung create natin na y object a while ago. Okay, clear so far, guys? Paki-chat naman please kung clear so far. Kung may questions. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. All right. Okay, so so we know, guys, that we can make use of the R script in order to do statistical analysis, to generate codes, either for whatever purpose, no? Kung statistics man yan, or let's say whether you're doing regression analysis, ANOVA, etc. You can make use of R script, and then it will generate the results using RStudio. And I hope by now you can see that you are convinced that this is a lot better than just using the very stale and drab R environment. No? But of course, guys, as I mentioned a while ago, this will not work if you don't have R. Kasi again, parang dashboard lang to, guys, and the engine running behind this is your R. Okay. Now, aside from R script, you can also make use of either an R notebook or an R Markdown. Okay, in our class, we're going to make use of the R Markdown, R notebook, I mean. So pareho lang naman yan, may konting difference lang. Okay, si R notebook kaysa kay R Markdown, pero mas preferred natin si R notebook. But be that as it may, guys, let's start first with R Markdown. So kindly open this. Wala siyang shortcut, no? Unlike si R script, Control Shift and R Markdown, and then let's open this. Okay, so before it opens an R Markdown, we're asked, ano ba yung gusto natin? Is it a document? Is it a presentation? Okay, so notice pag presentation, iba siya, no? May in a PDF format, Beamer, or HTML, yung slidey, or yung IO slides. No? Pwede yung IO slides or slidey. Okay, pwede rin from template. No? So let's go here to document. We're going to create a document, and you can name this, guys. Let's name this trial 1. Then you have the choice whether it's an HTML document, PDF, or Word. It is recommended that we first choose an HTML kasi later on pwede naman siya ma-convert into, we can convert it into a Word file or a PDF file. So we open this. Okay. All right. So we now have an R Markdown, a sample R Markdown. Okay, what's the difference between an R Markdown and an R script? First, when you open a new R Markdown, meron tayong default dito na na sample, no? Okay, so this is a default R Markdown document. It's quite different from what we opened a while ago kasi kanina nag-open tayo ng R script, empty lang yan, no? It's an empty document. Dito sa R Markdown, okay, meron ng you have this object. You have this, okay? Okay, linagay ko lang ito kanina. Kasi may isa pa akong trial 1. Okay. So you have here some notes about our Markdown. Okay. And then we're told here when you click the button, a document will be generated. Okay, tapos meron tayo ditong, let me, sorry guys, medyo iba yung ano nyo, no? Okay, so let me delete this. Okay, don't save na lang. Tapos mag-create na lang ako ng panibago para pare-pareho tayo. Okay, kasi that's what I used a while ago. Ito pala. So ito pala yung Untitled 7. Okay, this is it, guys. All right, now, guys, as far as the window panes are concerned, na-adjust yan, ha? You can increase the width and the height of a particular window pane. So first, guys, anong difference sila? Si R Markdown or si R Notebook, merong ganito, no? Okay, so we have a title a while ago, the author, it's under my name, the date, ano yung date ngayon, and the output kanina pinili natin HTML document. Okay, itong first part na to will actually gives instructions on how to print this document later on. And it's what we call the YAML. Ang tawag sa kanya YAML. Okay, I'm not sure about the meaning of YAML kasi what I'm seeing is that yung YAML daw, it's yet another markup language. No? I'm not sure if this is the official. I haven't really seen kung ano ba yung matagal ko hinahanap, hindi ko makita eh. Kung ano yung ibig sabihin ng YAML, no? Others would say that this is yet another markup language. Okay, itong YAML na to. But what's important, guys, is the use rather than the terminology that they use for this. But if you meet this, guys, YAML, ito yung it refers to this one. Okay? So, kanina, guys, nung create natin, kung pinili natin PDF, then ilalagay dito PDF. So what's that used for? Later on, when we print this, okay, it will generate either an HTML document, a PDF, or a Word document. Okay, then you have this. No? If you take a look at this, what's this? Meron siyang backticks na 3 and backticks dito sa dulo. Tapos may bracket siya dito. And then R set up, include is equal to false, which means later on, pag re-render natin yung document na to, hindi siya isasama dun sa pag-run. No? And then here you have knit R, which is a package. Chunk set echo is equal to true. Ibig sabihin ng echo is equal to true, yung code na to, guys, i-run din to mamaya pag re-render na natin yung data, no? Yung document natin. You'll understand yung rendering mamaya, guys, when we go through it. So what we can notice, guys, is that any code in our Markdown will only run if it's inside a code chunk. So for example, kanina, di ba, nag-R norm tayo, diba? 100. Yeah. Okay, let's make it standard normal distribution, 100 observations. If we run this, Control Enter, okay, nothing happens. No? Nothing happens. Kasi a code like this will not run if it's not inside a code chunk. Okay, so how do you insert a code chunk? Well, manually you can just here type yung backticks na to, which is found on top of the tab button, and then you type here yung curly bracket na to, curly bracket, and then R. Okay, and then you can give this chunk a name. For example, R norm. Okay, just an example. Okay, this will now be the name of this code chunk. Okay, and then 1, 2, 3, close it there. So this is the code chunk that I'm generating, and then I can just copy this one here. Okay, so whereas a while ago the R norm function did not run, here in an R Markdown or R Notebook file document, this will already run. So how do we run this? You can either go anywhere here Okay, it does not have to be at the end. Control Enter. That's one way. Another way is to click this. Okay, run current chunk. If I run this, okay, so it generated, guys, it printed both, also in the console. Okay, also in the console and here below the code chunk. So in this regard, guys, this is a lot better than the regular R notebook, R script, because in the R script you will not find the output in your R script here. While here, okay, it generated the output here. Okay, so that's one way, guys, to, let me delete this. That's one way to insert a code chunk. Another way is here. You can see here on top, you have here insert. Okay, insert R. Okay, there. That's automatically inserting a code chunk using this button insert. You can actually also insert a Python code. Okay, so our Markdown is so powerful that you can also put other codes here. You can put C++. You can write SQL here, and R will recognize that. You can write Python. Okay. Any questions so far, guys, about inserting a code chunk? And why is a code chunk important? A code chunk is important because you put codes inside that code chunk for it to run in our Markdown. A code cannot run outside of a code chunk. So a code chunk starts with a backtick, 3 backticks, and then open parentheses, and then R. Of course, you can, as I said, you can put a name to it. Okay, what's the use of that later on when we have several chunks of codes already? And then if you're looking for a particular code chunk, then here, okay, you can see that how we defined it will appear now in your index here. So if you want to go here, so a particular chunk of code, instead of just navigating through it with your mouse, which can be cumbersome, can be difficult, okay, you can go here. Okay, so that's another way. And the last way I'm going to teach you is to make use of this. If you're a fan of the keyboard, then you can make use of Control plus Alt plus I, or in Mac that should be your Command Alt plus I. Mac users, kindly please confirm kung Command Alt I ba, or sa Windows at the same time Control Alt and then I, at the same time press this 3. Okay, and automatically, guys, nag-generate siya ng panibagong code chunk. Okay, questions? Let me pause for a while.
Sir,
Yes.
similar ba sa sa Jupyter Notebook?
Sorry.
Yung Jupyter Notebook, sir. Yung pang
What about?
Python. Is it similar?
May similarities pero may differences, David, no? Number one Jupyter Notebook, I know it can now also recognize our chunk, no? Our codes. Ginagamit ko rin Jupyter Notebook, but not as much as depende sa project na ginagawa ko. Minsan pag machine learning, mas maganda rin yung Python na gamitin. And then sa Python, meron din silang notebook, no, yung Jupyter. Yung IDE na Jupyter Notebook. This is quite similar to yung R at saka yung RStudio, R Markdown scenario. No? So si Jupyter Notebook naman, IDE siya for Python. Okay, thank you, David, for that question. Nice question. Sa subject natin, depende sa pace natin. hopefully magkaroon tayo ng chance na gumamit din ng Python for multiple regression kasi pwede rin yun. But I find R as far as statistical analysis to be more powerful than Python. So machine learning medyo mas medyo relatively mas madali si Python no kaysa kay R. Pero pag statistical analysis guys, hands down, no, mas grabe ang power ni R. Okay, so were you able to create a new code chunk, either manual or using the insert command here or yung shortcut na Control-Alt-I. Okay, so several ways to do it. Kasi yung manual, matagal yun. And again, guys, my suggestion is to give a name to your code chunk. Para later on, guys, pag kunyari hahanapin mo siya, kunyari ito, code chunk na to. If I click this, pupunta tayo dito. Kasi itong default niya, naglagay siya ng R, tapos it gave a name to this code chunk, cars. That's why it makes sense, guys, to put code chunks, related code chunks together as one. No? Okay, so let's insert here, for example. Gawin natin itong, lagyan natin ang pangalan na Z, no? Z is equal to Z is equal to R norm. Lagyan natin ng 1,000. Okay? And then kunin natin yung mean. Mean Z. Take note, guys, I'm using capital letter. No? And then standard deviation, weathering variance, variance ni Z, or standard deviation ni Z. And then tingnan natin what will be the fault if we plot Z, if it's different from histogram ni Z. O plot na muna. Okay, so here I created several codes. Ito sa code chunk na to, I'm creating an object called Z. It's equal to R norm. Now, oftentimes, guys, when we're assigning a variable to a certain function, it's advisable not to use equal sign. It's advisable to use instead okay. If you notice, guys, ito Z, and then you have here less than and then minus. No? This is what we call lagyan natin ng comment. It's called an assignment operator. Okay, so that's equivalent to equal to. However, guys, minsan kasi may mga functions na gumagamit ng equal to din. So, mas maganda, it's better to use another symbol for equal to. Kasi that could cause confusion in your code. So, ako, ang ginagamit ko is this assignment operator. It has the same meaning. We're just telling R that I'm assigning the letter Z, capital Z, to this function here, R norm 1000. Okay? And the shortcut for this is, may shortcut din yan, guys. No? Kasi pwedeng i-type to, no? And that should be shift, and then less than, and then minus. So tatlo pang key ang ano nyo, unlike kung dalawa lang, to. I press something, guys, no? And it's alt and then minus. Alt minus. Yan. Yan ang shortcut. So the shortcut here is alt plus minus. Okay, alt and then minus. That's a shortcut to generate this assignment operator. Okay, so kailangan din natin i-print yung Z. I-print natin yung Z para lumabas yung output. So let's try to run this. We can run this code one at a time, these lines of code one at a time, okay? Or we can use the whole code chunk. If you want to use the whole code chunk, meron din dito, guys, ito, no? Pwedeng ito or pwedeng ito din, yung run na to. dito guys, pwedeng i-run nyo yung selected line or run the current chunk. Okay, anong difference yan? Selected line, kunyari, andito tayo, yung cursor natin andito. Tapos run selected line, ito lang yung i-run niya. Hindi pa yung pangalawa. Okay? But of course, you can click run the current chunk. Ibig sabihin yung buong to. Run the current chunk. Run natin. There. Okay, so nag-generate siya ng random numbers, 1,000 all in all. Okay, so these are 1,000 random numbers whose mean is equal to, okay, ang mean niya, linabas na rin yung result dito. Okay. Okay, hindi niya na-print dito yung yung mean. Pero ang mean dito guys is 0.03. Okay, negative 0.03, so very close to 0. And then the variance is practically 1, standard deviation is practically 1. Then plot natin guys, and the default is a scatter plot. So ito yung plot natin ng ng object Z natin, no? And of course, we can also insert a histogram here. Z. Plot natin to. Okay, sandali. Ang naran niya yung Okay, there. So na-plot yung histogram, no? Ito. So 1,000 observations with the averages, the values congregating at year 0, which is the average. Okay, guys, any questions?
Sir, regarding
Yes.
the chunk name, is the R important? Is it significant there?
Which
Or
one?
is whenever you open a new chunk, it starts with a default R.
Yes, yes.
You remove that. Would that remove?
Okay, that's a good question. Tingnan natin guys kung let's create another object. Let's call AA alt minus. And then say A will be, let's combine letters, no? A. We can create also objects in R, no? C, D, and then E. Okay, here I'm creating an object. Let me call it A1. Okay, I'm calling it A1, and it's supposed to be a list of letters A, B, C, D. Notice I used quotes in order to define that this is a character, and then the C here means concatenate. So it means that we're combining all these elements here. Now the question is, what if we just give it a name? For example, letters. Okay, so will this run if we did not include the R here? Let's see guys kung mag-run to. No? Ano na notice you guys? What do you notice?
It's a string basically.
First guys, wala dito yung provision na to na running this particular chunk because it's not considered now as a code chunk. Even if we run this, kunyari i-run natin to, no? Run current chunk. Ano nangyari? Rinan ba niya, guys? Itong current chunk na to? It did not, no? It did not. So in order to signify that this is a code chunk, kailangan ilalagay natin yung name na R. Tingnan nyo guys, so yung linagay natin yung R dito, nag-appear na to. Okay? That's a very good question. Thank you so much. That's a good question. So, kailangan pag code chunk ang ilalagay natin, dapat may R dito. Diba ito automatic nag-alt minus lang tayo dito, di ba? And automatically it gave this, no? Okay? So ito pwede natin ma-run to. Okay? Run. Okay, what happened guys? Nag-create ba ng object na A1? Yan, nagkaroon na ng A1 dito guys. Yan, no? Character siya, 5 elements, A, B, C, D, E. Okay? Ibig sabihin, nag-i-exist na itong A1 na to. No? Nag-i-exist, nare-recognize na ni Arya yung A1 na yan. So much so guys that if we say A1 let's say plus 3. No? Ito. Nag-code tayo na A1 plus 3 and then run this. What happens? Okay, you'll notice na in red siya, error siya. No? Kasi A1 is a character object. No? It's an object, it's a list, A, B, C, D, E. It's a vector of 5 characters. And then you cannot add 3. You cannot add a number to it kasi character yan. Okay? So hindi siya pwede. No? And that means that indeed there is an object here, A1. If I for example type A1 here, okay, A1, ipiprint niya. No? Ipiprint niya. So notice guys, nung nag-create lang tayo ng object na A1, hindi niya automatically print. Kailangan ita-type nyo pa yung object na yun A1 para niya i-print. If for example you don't want to type A1, so magkakait ulit ako ng panibagong chunk. Oops. Control Alt. Control Alt I. Oops. Okay. So let me create another object, B1, Alt minus, and then let's see that, let's generate these numbers from 1 to 10. Okay, 1 to 10. Okay, if I run this, may B1, no? 1 to 10. Kaso hindi niya print. So paano natin ipiprint to? Kailangan i-type natin B1 din dyan, no? Para i-print niya. Or if you don't want to type that, if you want automatically for R to print that, you can put the whole code in parentheses. Yan. Okay, if I put it in parentheses, if I want automatically for R to print it, kasi with just this, hindi niya ipiprint eh. Okay, if I run this, yan, automatically print na niya. So 1 to 10 print niya yung B1, 1 to 10.
Sir, quick
Yes.
question.
Yes, sure. Go
Kapag
ahead.
ka-print mo, merong bracket 1.
Saan?
When you did that exercise, you showed bracket 1 there, di ba? When we were doing the mean, variance, and standard deviation, not sila naka-bracket 1 eh, and then the number. Pwede mo mapalitan yan?
Okay, here.
That when you run that mean, variance, SD, kung tinignan mo yung results sa if you run it on the chunk,
Ito.
not there, not on the console, sir. Dun sa chunk.
Sige. Okay. Let me run this na. Itong mean, no?
If you run all of them, yung SD, var, and then mean, I realize they're all called 1.
Okay. Control Enter. All right. Now,
yeah.
Bakit siya may 1, guys? Ibig sabihin nito, guys, itong mean na to, isa lang yung answer dyan. This is an index, no? 1. Ibig sabihin, isang element lang yan. Itong variance, guys, isa lang din yan. 1, no? Ito, isa lang din. No? Okay, but what if, let me change this, no? Okay, ito. Kunyari 1 to 100, guys. 1 to 100. Itong 1 na to dito, guys, it means it refers to the first element. No? If I generate this object B1, which is from 1 to 100, and have it automatically printed, if I run this, there. Okay, tingnan nyo guys, no? 1, this one, he refers to the first element here. Tapos itong 17 na to, ibig sabihin, it refers to this is the 17th element. Okay? 17th element na to. Pagdating dito sa dulo, okay, yung brackets na to guys, these are indices. Okay, 97 here means that this first object here, this first object here, element here, is the 97th element. Of course, guys, medyo hindi siya hindi siya obvious kasi understandable na 97 yan eh. But let me change our example. Let me create another object. Control Alt I. Okay, let's gamitin natin yung guys, yung let me see. Let's create an object called let's create an object called C1 alt minus ano bang pwede nating gamitin? Balikan tayo sa R no? Sorry, ito muna example natin. Pero next time marami tayong ibang examples, no? Let's say 50. 50 objects, no? And then I'm going to ask R to print this automatically. So maglalagay ako, either I type below C1 or I put this in parenthesis para automatically ipiprint niya. There, so automatically print niya, no? Okay, there. Now we have the brackets again, no? Ito. Ano ibig sabihin itong 46 na to? It means that this element here is the 46th element, no? So 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Ayan. So 50 nga siya. Kasi ang sabi natin, mag-generate siya ng 50 na 50 elements of a standard normal distribution where the mean is equal to 0 and the standard deviation is equal to 1. So if you get the mean of this and the standard deviation, it will be very close to 0 and 1 respectively. Okay, clear ba yun guys? Did that answer your question?
Yes, po, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you guys for the questions. Very good. Very good. I really appreciate that. Okay, any other questions? Okay. Now, meron pang iba dito, no? This is another code siya. Summary is used for statistical analysis. This CARS is a data coming from the CARS package. We'll get to learn more about this. So if we run this, ipapakita sa atin yung dalawang variables under this data, CARS. The summary gives us the 6-number summary, yung minimum, first quartile, second quartile, average, third quartile, and the maximum values. So this is a data set, yung CARS na to, where binigay sa atin yung summary niya, summary statistics. Dalawa yung variables dito, speed and distance. Okay? So we'll get to meet more of that, guys, when we do our regression already. And then ito naman, no, including plots. Here, this is also another data, pressure. Okay, so i-plot natin to. Okay, tingnan nyo to guys, echo is equal to false. Mamaya, I'm going to tell you what this means. No? So it's almost time. May I request a few minute extension para tapusin lang to? Guys, okay lang ba? 1 or 2 minutes lang. Permission, guys?
Ayos lang sa akin, sir. Okay,
I hope okay lang siya. But if you need to leave, guys, okay lang ha. Okay, so ito guys, ang advantage ng R Markdown is that this can be printed, no? Unlike yung R script kanina. So if we, let's say this, no? So ito guys, naka-default siya sa akin, print in viewer pane. So i-click nyo to, I think print in window ang naka-default sa kanya. Pero paki-click to, print in viewer pane para makikita natin dito sa viewer, sa window na to, no? Alright, and then ini-neat natin siya. No? Neat, ibig sabihin, i-render ni R to para maging document siya. So that's one advantage of using an R Markdown and an R notebook. So init natin, init na lang natin muna sa HTML. So when you need this, tatanungin ka ni R kung saan mo siya i-save yung knitted file na yan. Okay, so it will usually it will save in your default window. Pag-uusapan natin default working directory natin next meeting. Let me call this trial 2. Trial 2, I'll call it trial 2. You may call it any other name. Save natin. Okay. So pag sinesave na siya guys, you notice what will happen here. I-render siya dito sa ano natin sa console window. Take a look guys. I-render siya. I-render pa siya. Let's just wait for a few seconds. Mabilis lang naman yan kasi simple lang document natin. Yan, ipaprocess na siya, no? Yan, okay. Oops, nag-error ako. Wait. Nag-error ako. Tatanggalin ko to guys, sorry. Nag-error siya dito eh. Hindi niya man ito, no? Okay, let me kailangan tinanggal ko pala itong error natin. Sorry, Sorry, let me delete this. Nag-error siya, no? Okay, i-ano ko ulit. I-save ko muna. Control S, save ko siya. Tapos, init ko ulit. Alright, yan. Okay na, no? Nag-knit na siya, tapos mag-a-appear siya dito. So, na-save na yun, guys. Na-save na yung document na yan. Ito, guys. Take a look at the knitted file. Alright? So, it's a printout, no? It's a printout of the codes, no? Ito yung mga ginawa natin, di ba? Take note, guys. Kita nyo dito yung kanina, meron tayong echo is equal to false. Ito yung plot ni pressure. Echo is equal to false means that hindi ipapakita, hindi ipiprint yung ano, yung code, no? Yun yung dito, wala yung code. Unlike yung others, kunyari itong histogram, di ba? Nakalagay yung code. Hist Z, print niya. Okay, so this is a lot better, guys. Pwede natin i-publish to here. Pwede na i-publish yan. Or kung titingnan nyo, guys, kung saan nyo to sinave. A while ago, kung saan nyo sinave siya, buksan nyo siya, then it will open in as an HTML file. Okay? So in this subject, guys, we're going to, ito yung i-generate nyo sa mga projects. We're going to make use of our notebook in particular. From our Markdown, pupunta tayo sa our notebook kasi mas maganda ang our notebook. Okay, so with that, I stop recording first.